Hey guys, Tuesday, January 28th, 2025. Let's see what the US dollar is up to. So far, I popped up the weekly chart using data all the way to 2001, pretty much to where we're at right now. And there's one important cycle that jumps out at me here on the weekly chart. It's the 180 cycle. As you can see how it peaks. This one came in early. This one was actually really good. This one came a little late. This one was kind of chopped. We got this one. This one was choppy. This one worked out. This was choppy here. This one worked out. Came in a little early, the peak. And it was choppy. Well, not choppy. This was choppy, but then once the cycle kicked in right here on September, now this cycle is up. So this cycle is up all the way to roughly March 2026, meaning that the dollar is going to be strong. You could probably chop around here, maybe get a nice pullback, but somewhere around this ballpark is probably going to be topping out using the strongest cycle. They say, Trump doesn't really like a strong dollar. Well, there is a cycle here that is kind of interesting too. It's the 393 on the weekly. This one was all right. Take the peak here. It was kind of choppy here. Yeah, it was close. This one didn't work out. This one pushed lower, but probably was like a turning point. And then this one just pretty much was chopped. But this cycle is down all the way to 2027. So if this is a bull trap and the dollar is going to go down, because, from what I heard and read, Trump doesn't like a strong dollar. This could probably play out. But that would mean that we have to take out that high there, take out these lows. Once you take out 100, it's a strong support here, then I could be like, okay, maybe the 393 is the real cycle here that is in play. But the 180 is the strongest one. So I'm going to lean with the 180. And that means there's going to be pressure on the currencies, pound, euro. Let's look at the daily and see what clues we could get out of there. Okay, so this is the daily chart, and I'm using data from like, you could say 2017 all the way here, roughly 5 years and change. And there's one important cycle here that comes up. It's the 302 on the dollar. And it looks like it's about to hit a peak right now. This week, the dollar hits a peak. The 302 has a strong bar tail of 89.28. Strength is not bad. It's a 5.30. So I'm looking at that and putting a composite, which is the 44. It's a smaller cycle. It's one of the strong ones. That one has a bar tail of 91.61. A little more fractal in nature. And when you do a composite of those two, this is the price action you kind of get. So maybe from here, we get a bottom and somewhere peak around February the 21st, somewhere around there, that ballpark, and then turn down. There's also another one I'm looking at. That's the 302 you're seeing right now. It's the 94 cycle. It's a little more fractal. That one has a strength. The bar tail is not that high. It's at 24.44, but the strength is 7.96. So it's the strongest one. I'm trying to find a combination of the bigger cycle with one of the fractal cycles. And so far, this one, it went a little extended, came down, which kind of worked here. Now, if the dollar is going to get this nice, pop, it's in that ballpark, February 5th, all the way to a turning point somewhere around March the 14th. Pop, maybe a fail new high, maybe test the high 110-ish up here, and then I see this lining up with, you know, from what I've known, Trump liking a weaker dollar. This would be maybe your last leg. So if this plays out, it could be something where the currencies, the euro, the pound, maybe the Aussie, they'll dip in while this is going, and then that would be your opportunity, maybe a fail new low. Get a little exposure. Don't bet the house, but a little something just in case. And maybe the cycle goes down. But know that the weekly cycle is up. So this may not play out, you know, maybe perfectly, but it's just kind of like a trading idea. So we just got to keep an eye on the dollar. But we're in this ballpark where it could possibly turn. This is a seasonality chart I like to look at, percent of months in which the US dollar closed higher than it opened from 2021 to 2025. Using a 5-year chart, you can see that on average, the dollar is strong in February. So looking at that daily cycle, finding support very soon, I can see a nice maybe final rally, maybe testing that 110, maybe even pushing even higher. But then you see that March still strong. April is kind of 50-50, and then May is pretty weak. Between May and July, using the 5-year, we go to 10 years, you can see the dollar is still strong, and then it kind of flattens out a little bit. July winning with 2 of weakness. Go to 15, still February strong on the dollar. April is now the weakest link between April and July. And then lastly, 20 years worth of data. February still king of the dollar. And then April. So between April and July, possible swing lows. So you factor this all in with the cycle and then maybe other, you know, Gann technique or whatnot. You can kind of get an idea that we're kind of in this area where the dollar could get toppy here. But just remember the daily cycle, the weekly cycle continues pushing higher into 2026. And then there's also one just in case the 180 is not the strong one, where the dollar could probably push lower. That kind of lines up with Trump's idea or philosophy of a weaker dollar. I'm going to sign out. Hope you like this video. I'll keep you posted on my thoughts on the US dollar.